Good afternoon, and thanks for joining SMTV Live on this Monday. I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Jamie McCook.
And in case you couldn't tell, it's Fashion Week.
It is.
And Jamie and I not only wanted to bring you the social media news about Fashion Week, but we wanted to personally offer you our take on Fashion Week. So that is what we've done.
Here we are.
We've been practicing our Zoolander all weekend. We'll save that for the end of the show.
Yes, absolutely.
But Fashion Week is doing some really neat things in social media. A couple of them are a whole Twitter guide. Let me pull that up here because it's pretty neat. It's over here on a separate Twitter page that's got the tweets, the trends, fashion writers you can follow, designers you can follow, a whole guide basically for this week-long fashion experience.
Yes, and there's actually, it's kind of crazy because about a third of the designers are going to be streaming their design, like the Fashion Week, straight through YouTube, live stream, and their Facebook pages.
Yeah, you can follow those on the Fashion Week channel. It's got a lot of great content on there, and a lot of them are actually turning to mobile video. Some of them are posting things on YouTube, on sites like Vidi, where they can kind of tweak things a little bit, make it look like Instagram for photos.
Right, that's kind of impressive.
Yeah. If you have questions or need help with any of your social media venues, please send them over to us.
You can email us your questions to questions@splashmediau.com, or you can tweet those to us by using the hashtag SMTVQuestions.
And we've got some great questions today, so let's get started. Jeff would like to know, do I treat a nonprofit business any differently than a for-profit business in terms of managing their social media?
That's a really great question. In terms of management, no. But kind of, we always try to stick to the 90-10 rule as far as your content goes. But you can kind of skew that a little bit more if you're a nonprofit because people really like to follow causes. So you can kind of get away with doing a little bit more, like 80-20, 70-30.
Yeah, I agree. People love to be able to get behind a cause. And a lot of for-profit businesses take advantage of that too because they have campaigns like, for every like, we'll donate $1 to our favorite cause, or you can vote on your favorite charity that we can support. But nonprofits are all over social media, and they're using it in really interesting ways. And just like you said, I think we can relax the rules just slightly because people don't mind getting behind a cause and really supporting what they're about. They want to. They want to feel that sense of, I'm doing something good.
Right. Tina wrote to us, how do I start building my community?
The first thing I would do, Tina, is internal activation. And that means making sure all of your employees, your company, your partners, they're all on board with all of your social media efforts. And that means having them like the Facebook page, having them follow you on Twitter, comment on a video. Have them do it first, because if you can't get your own company on board with your social media, it's going to be so much more difficult to get your potential audience, your customers, to do all those great engaging actions on social media.
Right, and you can also, after you do that, you can also go into adding the signature lines, changing your signature lines to follow us here.
Yeah.
You can also even go in and send out an email blast to clients you already have, letting them know to follow you there. And then you can also cross-promote between the different social networks.
Right, lots of different ways, just basically to say, here we are on social media, come join us. And then, of course, after that, make sure you're still driving them to that great content. Make sure you've got fresh stuff coming up all the time that keeps them there and keeps them engaged.
Right, absolutely, and that helps them share also with their people. It helps grow your community huge there.
And it doesn't hurt to actually mention that. It doesn't hurt to, once in a while, solicit the like and say, share if you found this useful, or like if you, and leave that blank and fill it in for your industry.
Right.
Lisa wants to know, if I send out a tweet without a hashtag or an @ mention, who actually sees it?
Great question. We always kind of go over, how to use hashtags, how to use @ mentions. But we never go over like what to do, like if you don't. But simple answer, it only goes to people who are following you.
Right, that's true. I mean, there's certainly plenty of ways for people to see your tweets. If they just go to your own Twitter feed, they can see all of your tweets, whether or not you've mentioned somebody. If they put you in a list, that's another way to actually see what comes through on your tweets, on your Twitter feed. But right, we talk about @ mentions and hashtags so much because we want people to join in conversations, make it very easy for people to follow along and get notified when they're being talked to.
Right, absolutely.
But if you just have a regular tweet, it goes out there to your followers, and the tricky thing is you got to really pay attention to when people retweet and mention and favorite your tweets and interact with them in order to get the most out of the time of day and find out what works best for your business.
Right. I mean, using hashtags, it's good practice. I mean, because it gets outside of your community you already have. So if you want to build your community, always use those hashtags to get outside of there.
Great way to take advantage of these things like New York Fashion Week when you're talking about your business. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fashion-related business to take advantage of this trend or something that's going on in the news or in the world this week, but talk a little bit about it. Incorporate it somehow, and that'll get people talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Casey wrote to us, what is a good idea for a Facebook campaign for my ladies' boutique?
You know, there's so many different kinds of campaigns that we talk about that probably can apply also to a ladies' boutique. One thing, though, that we saw was a boutique in Dallas that's doing a really neat job of incorporating actually what we've talked about earlier in the show, a cause. And I like what they're doing here. Let me scroll down. This is Crimson and Clover Women's Boutique here in Dallas. And I love what they're doing with the MDA, Muscular Dystrophy Association, and how they're supporting it and getting people out to support this cause. And just like we said, this is a great way to kind of bend the 90-10 rule a little bit, because people want to get behind you if you're supporting the cause, and they want to support the cause themselves. So it's a great way to, you know, if it's a short-term campaign, just let it take over your Facebook page for a little while. Let it take over your Twitter feed. Talk about it. Get the message out there, and I think your fans will thank you for getting involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing you can always do is try to incorporate, you know, the share this picture or, you know, enter this to win. You know, you can post 3 different like designs you have and have them vote for a chance to receive, you know, 10% off. Or just anything like that, you know, kind of gets them involved. They'll want to vote because they want to win. Everyone likes free stuff or discounted.
Yeah, I love those. They love the free stuff, and they also love looking behind the scenes. The customers love to feel like they're getting to have a say in the company. So if you had 3 designs, I love that idea. If you have 3 designs, maybe the customers can choose which ones they like best, or do something like the potato chip campaign that's going on right now, where you can choose a flavor. So maybe have people write in and suggest things for a design, and maybe the winner could actually have that be design, whatever it is, an accessory or clothing.
Right. Anyone who's, you know, into fashion, I'd love to do that if I was into fashion.
Yeah. So some ideas to get you started. That's going to do it for today. I want to thank you for joining us this Monday for our live broadcast of SMTV, and thank you for sending in those great questions, and keep them coming. I got to try out this is going to look really bad, my Zoolander. Here we go. It wasn't even close. That was my fish face impression, by the way. For Splash Media, I'm Duncan Gilman.
And I'm Jamie McCook. Have a great week.